Welcome to the first part of my Webathon series. At random, I have chosen to start with Weebly, so today, in this video, we will take a look at as much as we can in about 20 to 30 minutes of the features and questions that I proposed to you in the very first Webathon kickoff video. Without further ado, let's dive in and check it out. So my first discovery is that there is in fact a mobile view allowing the website to be set up differently for your mobile web browser as well as your desktop browser. And the service also offers an application that you can download on your phone to edit and access your site on the go. Next up, I decided to create a new page so I could test to see what social media services I could embed inside of the site. I first decided to do a little formatting on the page just to see what some of these options were. Here on the left, that's where our web building tools were. So I put in a divider, then I tried one of these new section options out, which I thought would allow me to create a section that I could fill with the stuff I want, but it actually only allowed me to do certain tasks with inside of it. Next, I thought I would try adding in a file function to see what kind of files I could upload when I discovered at that point that I had no files downloaded onto my computer because everything I do is inside Google Drive. So I will download some files and test that out later. So then I discovered the function to add an YouTube channel into the page, which is again what I was trying to do, embed social media things, one of them being YouTube. And I was struggling with getting my whole channel into the application or widget that they offered, but I was able to put a video in, so that will require some further testing to see if you can get an entire channel inside of Weebly. While working on that, I discovered the search box option, which I thought was pretty cool. Then I went to add it and noticed that I needed to be a premium subscriber to Weebly in order to use that service. So anything with those little lightning bolts requires you to have paid Weebly to use those services. Short version is that Weebly is a free service with some premium features that you can pay for should you want them. Then I went on to look and see what the app section was like, which I believe is you could call a widget section. Basically, it's different tools that you have built inside of Weebly that will allow you to add different things. So I was again looking for social media stuff, so I was looking to see if I could embed Twitter. They have a plethora of different Twitter options inside of their App Center, some which were free or premium, like you can see this one here, and some of them, the ones that are labeled free premium, allow you to have use them for free, and you can see that there's different options if you want to pay to use different functions of it. Once you grant access to the connected app, it seems like the whole page reloaded and took me back to my main page. So I then had to navigate back to the social media page. You can see down at the bottom now that I have an installed app that I can now use, which is that POW-R Twitter feed. But it took me back to the main page, so I had to navigate back to the social media page that I was working on in order to put it back on the page. Once I was back on the page and in build mode, I could choose from my installed apps the POW-R Twitter feed app, and then it allowed me to enter in the information that I wanted to have for what I was pulling in for a Twitter feed, i.e. Tech on the Side. Hey, if you're not following Tech on the Side on Twitter, you should. Once I gave the feed a name, I could then add it to my page, and I could go in and customize the look, change some of the colors, change some of the background stuff if I wanted to make it more unique and more my own and different than others. Now that I had Twitter and YouTube embedded on the page, I wanted to see about moving them around so I could make them maybe be side by side or a few columns. So I started moving the apps and widget around on the page, and it's pretty much what you see is what you get editor. It sort of created columns for me as I moved it around the page intuitively. Then I wanted to go ahead and add in my Instagram feed. In order to do that, I just used the embed code function and then went and grabbed some code from an Instagram post. The last thing I wanted to try to add in was embedding my podcast, and that allowed me to embed, I believe, my whole podcast, so whenever there's a new update, it would show up right there in that spot using the embed code function within the build mode. Next up, I wanted to play with the blog feature. So this Weebly has a built-in blog function along with an RSS feed, so I could go into the page mode and create a new page and create a blog page. And then inside of that page, I could do new posts, and I had done one when I was testing or playing around with it before, so I decided to add in a second post to see what kind of functions I could do. The thing that I found both interesting and unique so far is that when I created a new post, it allowed me to put in a title, but then I could grab anything from the basic builder section to put inside of the post. So I went ahead and put in some text, added a really neat feature where it allows you to click read more, so I can type a short little snippet or put an image up and then have an option to click a button that says read more, and then everything I put below that then would show up after you click it, so I don't have to have my blog page with long posts so people who come to the page can see right away what some of the posts were instead of trying to figure out everything that's on the page and scrolling endlessly. So I uploaded some images, and then I even added in a slideshow, which was pretty cool and customizable, so that you could set a timer for each image, you could set transitions for the images, so you could build that right inside of the blog post instead of having to have it hosted somewhere else. One of the things I was looking for after I created a new post was a preview of the post so I could kind of see what it would look like before I published it. And again, since I hadn't yet published the page, the post was already private because no one could actually see the page yet since the whole thing has not been published. But I would have liked to have been able to click preview so I could see what it looked like to a viewer instead of an editor. Next, when I went to publish the page, I thought it was rather interesting that the first splash page that came up basically was trying to bait me into clicking continue because that seemed like the next step, but what that would have done was take me to a page where then I could purchase that domain if I wanted to purchase that domain, which is a nice function. However, I'm wanting to do everything as free as possible, so I clicked the X button and then clicked publish again, and then it allowed me to go to the page where I wanted to publish my web page. Lastly, I wanted to click through to see what my web page would look like fully published outside of being in Weebly, so I could see again what a viewer would see when they go to my page. So you could see I went to the blog and I could click read more, and it would sort of load the page differently. I thought it was interesting. It took me back to the top of the page, or it felt like it did. Then I had to scroll back down to see the post itself. So I thought that was a little buggy or a little odd, but I'm going to play around with it a little bit more in another video to see if it still does the same thing. I went over to the social media page to see what the embedded stuff looked like, and all in all, it looked pretty good. I preferred the Twitter widget. I had no luck trying to embed Twitter manually onto the page, and I believe that's due to some of Twitter's services. After playing around with Weebly, here are my final thoughts. Weebly offered up a mobile app and a mobile view. I was, in fact, able to embed all of the social media things that I wanted to embed. Weebly also offers a built-in blog with some buggy features or functions, but it warrants further testing. It also had some kind of cool functions compared to other blogging services. I am, in fact, able to edit a page before making it go live as well. Weebly does offer an app store, which is basically the same thing as a widget. You say apps, I say widget. While the blog offered a function to subscribe to it, I did not see a function inside of the site to subscribe to the website, but I will continue to search for it. Overall, I did feel that the user interface was pretty friendly, if not a little slow to what I was hoping for. What I did like was that I could move things around on the page and it would stick it to where it kind of thought I wanted it to be. So I like that. So thanks for tuning in to my first section, or part 1 of the Winter Webathon. Next, I will maybe compile a video of me moving through editing and creating the page to look a little bit nicer. in a sped up video and explore some of the other functions that we didn't get to dive too deep into. If you like the video, please consider giving it a big thumbs up. Also, consider subscribing to my channel so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Click the little bell to get notifications every time I've posted a new video. As always, stay tuned and stay connected. If you like this video, then you might also like my podcast, Tech on the Side.